Hi, readers. It's Lori, and it's time for Throwback Thursday. And I'm so excited because the person that I am sharing with you today is a person that I have been reading for a long time. And I've taken her techniques into my life, and I can say that they have really changed things for me over time. It's been an incredible journey with this author, and this is Julia Cameron. Years ago, I was introduced to Julia Cameron by my sister. She had read something that she had written and she recommended it to me, and I didn't buy it. I just kind of ignored it. After she recommended it to me, we had a Hurricane Katrina, and that was a pretty big thing. I've told you about this before. For both Mississippi and Louisiana, it was intense. There was a lot of rebuilding, a lot of, it was rough, but we all survived it. We're resilient people, I'm happy to say. And, we just keep on plugging along in this city and in this place where hurricanes are prevalent, sadly. But what I discovered was that Julia Cameron came to Mississippi, to a little town where I live, and she did a workshop on her first nonfiction book. These are all nonfiction, which was The Artist's Way. This one is a spiritual path to higher creativity. And by spiritual, she does not mean that you have to follow any specific religion, but just really go inside into your beliefs, your values, the things that bring you purpose and joy, and the whatever higher power it is that you're able to rely on, to connect with, to be able to have a bit of more well-being. So that's essentially what this is about. However, it's also about how your own presence and creativity really impacts your life and the lives of others, and what are some habits that you can do that will improve that. So this is a course in rediscovering and discovering and recovering your creative self. What I will say about this is I have read this so that the spines are broken, right? Like seriously, I've read this a lot. I maybe need another one, but I also annotated sloppily in this book more than once. I have taught this curriculum to other coaches. I have done this more than once. I still now to this day do morning pages because that's one of the first things she encourages you to do. Every day, 3 pages longhand in a pretty big notebook about this size since 2008. That's when I started. That's when I began to read this. I didn't start in 2005 or 2006 because we were still rebuilding, but in 2008, my sister passed away, and I found this book on her shelves, and my nieces said, "You need to take this book. She wanted you to read this one." And so I did, and it absolutely helped me so much in my grieving. So this is the first one that I read, and it stuck with me. So the two things that she recommends that you do right off the bat are the 3 pages. There's weekly lessons, although when I taught this, I did it monthly, but weekly lessons. So the first one is morning pages, and she helps you to understand how that can be helpful to you, and kind of how to approach it. But you approach it in a way that works for you, should you choose to do it. And then the second one is the artist's date, which is just a little outing for yourself. I think she recommended once a week, but it's been a while since I read this now, so I could be wrong. But just to get out and just to see something beautiful, whether it's going through a forest, whether it's something I did yesterday, which was to just leave and get out of my house for a little bit and step away and into a bookstore, which I love. Yes, I bought a book, but I really went in and spent 25 minutes not with a book in my hand at all, and no intention actually to buy one. I just went in to be stimulated by creativity and creative people. There's something about being in a space where people have created something that really it hits me. It hits me in my sort of whole body, to be honest. And so I love going to the bookstore and just browsing and not buying anything. And there are a lot of times I just don't buy anything, but that's her other one that she really introduces you to. And then it's reading deprivation is one of the things I just noticed. Environments, dreams, buried dreams that you had for yourself, recovering a sense of strength is week 8. I highly recommend this if self-help is something that you love and that you're willing to take on at this point. I think it again changed my life. And in addition to that, I used this one year, The Artist's Way Every Day Year of Creative Living. This is a prompt for every single day. And I have done this more than once, and I absolutely loved it. So it's a great companion to this, but it's also a standalone if you want to just do that. Let me just find a sort of a random one. So May 30th says, when I am in a period of drought, my chief enemy is despair. I am afraid to harbor hope, and yet it is the gentle harboring of hope that is an antidote to dryness of the spirit. In arid times, we must practice a very gentle discipline. We must keep on keeping on. Morning pages are never more important than in those periods when we seek to eke them onto the page a drop at a time. The slightest trickle, the merest hint of water, creative juice is what we're after. And creativity really is a full life experience, right? It doesn't have to be, oh, I paint for a living, or I draw, or I scrapbook, or anything. It just has to be what it is for you. It could be cooking, it could be dancing, it could be singing, it just anything, right? Like the sky's the limit. So another one of hers that I read was a an interesting one, and this one I don't own. This is her memoir. This is called Floor Sample. And this was really very bold of her. She was really honest about her life, her career. She did some screenwriting. She's written some things for different people. She wrote for several magazines, I think. She also talks about her addiction. She was an alcoholic. She talks about the challenges of relationships. It's really very um, full. I remember I was on a work trip and I read it while I was there, and I just remember thinking, wow, this is a whole centered person now as a result of all these things that happened to her in her life. So it was really quite incredible. And then another one I read that I don't own is The Creative Life, True Tales of Inspiration. So this is again some of like sort of the learnings that she's had. And I remember this is what I said in my review. I was really surprised by how much I loved this book, as it's so different from her other work. It is a running sort of diary of her life, but has this magical quality about it. The glimpse into her life, the support system she has in place, and her own wrestling with her inner critic were very entertaining. Julia is always an inspiration to me, and this book may be one of my favorites. I gave it 4 stars, and I read that in 2011. It's been a while, but I remember, and I don't know why I haven't bought it. I know when I finished it, I thought, I'm going to get that so I can reread it again. So there might be another trip to the bookstore in my life soon. But the second book of her works, The Artist's Way being the first, is a continuation that's called Finding Water, The Art of Perseverance, which is probably a really good time now for me to read this. I love these covers too. They're absolutely gorgeous. So this one is really about not forgetting about your habits. How do you make sure that you're still connecting to yourself? How do you uncover these things that are really in your way? And how do you make changes, take better care of yourself, persevere with the things that matter to you? Optimism, reality, resolve, perspective, safety. Yes, please. This is absolutely the perfect time. Obviously, I haven't read this one, so it's white still. The pages aren't torn, the binding's all intact. Yes. And then there's Walking in This World, which I also have, The Practical Art of Creativity. This is, I think, the third one, but you don't have to read them in order, except that I would say that I would recommend that you read The Artist's Way first, because some sort of level setting happens, I think, around her framework of the morning pages and some of the other habits, but it also helps you to sort of get a little bit more introspective for yourself if you haven't been already. And then it kind of gets deeper and deeper with each of these. So this one is also origin. Sense of origin is the first one. She still goes over the basic tools in the beginning. Perspective, adventure, personal territory, discernment, camaraderie, dignity, authenticity. Yes, we all can benefit from these. I think I don't know, but that's gorgeous too. It's just gorgeous. Okay, so those are those that kind of are in the framework of the, different pieces that connect with the artist's way. Then I also got and haven't read her writing diet, which really is about, it says write yourself to right size, but it really is about weight and it is about body and image and food for thought. Right around what we're craving. This is a perfect time for me too, because I have been noticing that I am a little more focused on sugar than as a diabetic I should be, right? And I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm not in a very dangerous place or anything. I still take medicine, but I think this is probably something that I need to read sooner than later. It's very short, as you can see, 234 pages, but I think that this would be fantastic for me right now, and maybe it is for some of you as well. And for me, it's not necessarily weight. And weight can be, of course, the things we carry in our minds, right? And in our spirit about our size and about our, health and those kinds of things. But it's also really just about like, okay, who am I when I'm a whole centered person? And we can't always stay in that space, obviously, but we can strive to do so. And this one is also about writing, the right to write, an invitation and initiation into the writing life. So this is about writing habits, making it your own, and really noticing how prayer and meditation are very similar to writing and connecting us to our own insights and a higher and deeper level of inner guidance. She says we should write because writing brings clarity and passion to the act of living. Writing is sensual, experiential, grounding. We should write because writing is good for the soul. We should write because writing yields us a body of work, a felt path through the world we live in. We should write above all because we are writers, whether we call ourselves that or not. Incredible. Now, does this mean you have to write a novel? No. Does this mean, though, that you are someone who consumes other people's writing? Yes. Does this mean that you have to read any of these? Absolutely not. I bring this to you today because I think it's a sampling of some self-care and self-work that we can all do, regardless of whether we end up ever writing a novel. And also in these times, it is we live in such a busy, frantic, ever-changing world. We live in a place where things are, sometimes difficult, when things are beautiful, when things are, just kind of meh, which is not always a good place to be, right? So I think that anything we can do to inspire ourselves and to change some of our habits and care for ourselves more deeply is a good thing. But again, not necessary. Don't have to do it. But I'm so happily and proud to show you and to share with you Julia Cameron. Oh, I don't have the little one. Let's get them all together. So yes, I think these are life-changing, and I'm so grateful to Julia Cameron for her work and for her perseverance. And she is not a young person, and she still continues on supporting people through training, through events, and through writing as well. So take a look if you choose to on this Throwback Thursday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments that I know will be in the space below, because you are always great to respond to these things. And if you don't want to comment, you can leave a book emoji or a candle emoji or something that reminds you of art or self-care. So I would love to see you there, and I'll see you again soon. And as always, happy reading. Bye.